and hopefully that is working and there is a voice. I've got bars going up and down, which would seem to indicate that I have, in a break with tradition, got it right from the start. Hello, you glorious people. It's very dark, isn't it? Why is it dark? Oh, there we go. That was weird. Hi. Why did it go dark for so long? That's very... Thank heavens for that, says Yaka. Hello, people. Hello. How are you? How are you? Isn't the world weird still at the moment? How awful is that? What the hell is... I mean, I don't do politics on this show, so we won't, we won't discuss specifics, but what the hell is he thinking? Anyway, hello. Hello, people. Now, hopefully the camera is a little bit better than it normally is. With all being well, we won't get any freezes today. And also, you'll notice I'm not a sort of somewhere between Battleship Grey and Blue like I was last time we streamed. So it's very colour and very HD. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? Uh, I have to say a massive thank you to the people. They know who they are, so I won't embarrass them. I'm sure they don't want me to embarrass them, but yeah, to say Rini and I were blown away does not really cover it. So we understand completely how difficult web cameras A are to get hold of at the moment, and B how expensive they are. Handsome space scarf. It is, isn't it? Scarves are so very, very, very required in space. Actually, if you saw the so guys, thank you, all of you. You know who you are. Thank you very much. Humbled is not the word, honestly. Thank you. Clartu, you're right, mate. So what was I going to say? Right, the Frontier video. Sorry, Scarves reminded me. On the subject of the Frontier video from Halloween, where they did the news thing, I have lined up a doing the thing for later on. So we will do a thing. I need to do a screen. I need to do like a special a fade thing for doing the thing. So we have like a little intro or whatever that just goes, now we're doing the thing. That'd be quite funny, wouldn't it? So those of you who are new to the show will not understand in the slightest what it is I'm talking about. And if you stick around long enough, then you'll be terrified at the end when we will do the thing. And you see, so I have lined up a doing the thing, and it's kind of in the vein of what the guys at Frontier did the other day. So there is a doing the thing coming up. Anyway, I hope the stream and my lovely new shiny camera, look at that. I hope it finds you well. I hope you're well, people. I genuinely do. Let's do some hellos. How about that? Let's do some hellos, because honestly, you're not here for the flying skills. Thaumaturgist. We went with Matt in the end, didn't we? But I'm gonna say thaumaturgist. Oh, I wish I could get that right. Anyway, Matt, hello, mate. Boone Labs, all right, buddy? How are you? Clartu, hello, buddy. Redbeard, you all right? Wintermute, Nova, Signy, Phil Barnes, hello, sweetie. How are you? John Thomason, don't know why I said that, buddy. Lord Tyvin, Elfina99, Science Keeper, how are you, mate? So Wampus is here. Yugashura is here. Crazy Golm. Let's pick some more names. Mark Shaw, hello, mate. How are you? Have I missed anyone? I'm sure I've missed that. Hello, Bob. Exorcist is here, people. The Commander Exorcist of the screenshots is here. And of oh, I'm not allowed to talk about that, am I? Okay. Forget I said anything, nearly. He's now laughing. Bob, hello, mate. Have I done it? Have I missed anyone? Oh, God, I hate missing people. Did I say Elfina? I'm not sure if I said Elfina. Hello, Elfina. And Lord Tyvin. Hello, mate. How are you? I hope you're well, people. I really do hope you're well. Exorcist. Woohoo! Science Keeper. I'm all right, mate. Thank you very much. I'm all right. I wasn't well yesterday, actually. Wasn't at all well yesterday. I've got an occasionally difficult stomach. I'm a celiac, so me and gluten really don't get on at all, and me and what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, I can't think of it. It begins with B. Anyway, me and things that come out of the ground sometimes don't get on very well. Flintlock, hello, mate. How are you? And also, so I have to be tediously quite careful of what I eat, and I ate something yesterday and it wasn't a full-on attack at all, but I didn't feel right at all yesterday. So yeah, I had a unpleasant day yesterday, which is a much longer answer than I intended to give. The short version is I'm very well, thank you. I'm much better now, much better. Ironically, this country's just gone into a second lockdown. But it's not nearly as tight a lockdown as it was last time. We're okay to go out for a walk and stuff. So me and Ree, gluten Wintermute indeed. Me and Ree took some time out this morning and went on a date. Quite frankly, so we went out for a beautiful walk out on the coast. Took an hour out and a flask of tea and a packet of crisps because I'm a cheap date, honestly. And went and sat on a cliff top and looked at the seagulls and mocked the state of the world. Hello, Desert Dog. Hello, Sadi. How are you? How are you? How are you? Why your country is not in lock? It's just what a what a what a weird world we live in. There is still good stuff though, people. Hang on to that. There is still good stuff. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. We will get there eventually. Of that, I have no doubt whatsoever. We will get there eventually. Humanity will prevail. Goramit. Yes, Flintlock. It was lovely. A flask of tea, no less, about yay big. It is our going out for a walk and having a cup of tea flask. There was talk of fish and chips as well. We don't know at the moment if we can get fish and chips. There's near where we were. There's a very, very nice fish and chips place that does extremely gluten-free fish and chips. There's not many places I will eat out because I just don't trust them. Because if I have an attack, it's quite bad. So, but there is a place that I do trust that we've eaten at a number of times, and it was quite close to where we were today. So there is talk, I will tell you now, of perhaps another date this time next week, or perhaps the week after, when we might go and get fish and chips if they're allowed to serve fish and chips. So that's a temptation at the moment. That is a temptation. I did a little thing with the interface, by the way. I'm looking for some opinions. I don't know if I'll change it now because changing stuff on the stream interface while it's streaming is frankly a bit terrifying. But I've put the I noticed that when these videos go live, when they go sort of video on demand on YouTube the next day, they take an awful long time for the chat channel to get on there as well. Like 24 hours or so it takes for the chat to get up there, and I decided that was far too long enough, so I've actually put the chat on the right hand side of the screen down. He says pointing down there. I can't. Oh, it's so weird. It's down there. We will, Crazy Golem. We will make it through, mate. Humanity will prevail. Of that I have no doubt. We'll learn from it and we'll come out stronger. So I've put the chat on screen. So hopefully it's not obtrusive. I'm trying to find a nice balance between it being small enough that it's not a pain and big enough that it's useful for anybody who might be watching the video on demand version. So I hope that's okay. But we'll see how that goes. If you've got any comments on that, yeah, there you go. Here, says Golm. Quite right. If you've got any comments on that, do please let me know. And it's nice and warm in here, but my hands are freezing. I don't really know what that is. It's Death's icy grasp reaching out for me. I'm parked on Tawanta A1 at the moment, which is where a bunch of our patrons were with us earlier on. I always think of that song, Exorcist. It's the end of the world and we know it. I do always think of that. It isn't the end of the world, though. It isn't. It is not. But yeah, I think an asteroid might hit us. That's the way 2020 is going, though, isn't it? So I'm parked on Tawanta A1 at the moment, which is where we were earlier on, because we were actually doing a little bit of filming. I'm sure Frontier won't mind me saying we were doing a little bit of filming that they'd asked us to do. So it's not, it's not terribly exciting footage. What the hell was that? I'm not on any missions. What was that? That's weird. Yeah, Frontier asked us for to sort of try and arrange a screenshot for them, which we were more than happy to do with the help of our lovely people this afternoon, which is why I'm parked down here. I'll just have you ever done this, by the way? Have you sort of like, I'll just hang on, where can I put my hand where it looks like I'm doing something? Hang on, there we go. So I'll just turn the ignition. it always takes a while to start when it's cold. Hang on. Hang on. Does this look stupid? Doesn't it? I'll just go, shall I? I'll just go. There we go. Yes, right. I've got no plans for what we're doing, by the way. As is the way with these streams, oh so very often. I have absolutely no plans whatsoever. If anybody doesn't know, by the way, this is very much our home system. This is the home system of the Burian Protectorate and the Buur Pit Squadron. The Burian Protectorate in-game faction, that should have been. And there's the beautiful Tawanta. This is our home system. We came here just because we needed somewhere reliable, and we needed bright, and we needed it really quickly. So we came here. We very much know what we're getting with this system. So I've left my carrier somewhere, so I thought I'll go and catch up with that. Have you guys been following the... I didn't want that screen. I've been following the Halloween stuff, but the solving of the listening post issue. Have you guys been following that at all? Because we went out for our walk today, and then when we came back, it's something that's been driving Ree absolutely nuts. Being somewhat obsessive as she is, the solving of the listening post issue was absolutely driving her mad. Well, we came home from our walk, and it's basically been solved. I don't know if you know that. I should get repaired before I do anything. Yes, Bob. Yeah, that was a careless landing, is what that was. Thank you very much. FA off Canyon shenanigans. It really wasn't. No, it really wasn't. Phil Barnes, you go for it, mate. You go for it. I will just sit here and rabbit away for an hour like I normally do. Okay, Pariah went to the Halloween sites yesterday. If you haven't done them, I don't want to spoil too much. We did put a video up on the main channel. Yeah, we put up a video on the main channel if you want to go and listen to the logs. But it's worth heading out to the sites themselves and just going in indulging in it and burying yourself in the lore that they put in. I do think they did a sterling job, I have to say. It was a little bit bugged. It wouldn't be elite if it wasn't if it wasn't a little bit bugged. But it's mostly working properly now, I think. Okay, so yeah, Flintlock. So it's the hello Bagfather. How are you, mate? Okay, so yeah, Phil's saying it's maybe solved. We think it's probably solved. So there's certainly some information's been extracted from it. But there's also an awful lot of, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't been keeping up with it this afternoon because of the filming that we had to do. But I get the impression that there's some spurious information in the code still, which hasn't sort of been tied down properly yet. But there is actual information that's come from it that matches up with what we already know. Phil Barnes is saying if you arrange letters in a row with 8 characters per row, read the first and second column, something appears. And you need to assume an FDev typo and add 1 character. Of course you do. Of course you do. So yes, it was a weird one actually. I can't see, the only thing that's kind of niggling at my brain somewhat, and I'm interested to get your thoughts on this, right? So without wishing to, I don't want to spoil anything too much, but there was it's not a spoiler to tell you that a megaship arrived in the Chuk-Chan system, and that megaship is called the Adamastor, and it's been missing for about 200 years. And so today's first loop of shame. Here we go. Strap in, everyone. So the Adamastor's been missing for about 200 years, right? It turned up in the Chuk-Chan system. And for a few days in the run-up to that happening, Frontier were tweeting and were putting stuff on Instagram. It was essentially binary code. When that was decoded, which wasn't too much of a task at all, when that was decoded, it spelt out Coalsack Nebula, the stones. He keeps watching the stones. and they didn't mean the Rolling Stones. But what it did give us, obviously, is Coalsack Nebula, right? So the event itself went live on Thursday last week. The code itself was decoded enough to get Coalsack Nebula out of it, I want to say on Wednesday. And so as a result, before the event actually went live, people were pouring all over the Coalsack Nebula, trying to work out what Frontier might be alluding to. The result of that is that when the event went live on Thursday, the place that they were alluding to was actually found really, really quickly. Because you know what elite dangerous commanders are like. Once they decide that they're going to look for something in a particular place, everybody heads there, everybody scans everything, and we find the thing, right? What has got me confused is, did they actually intend for us to solve the puzzle in the order that we solved it? So we found the megaship first. That's great. The megaship kind of sends you off to the left. If you look at the galaxy map, it sort of sends you off towards Barnard's Loop to go and find a listening post. Spoilers coming up, by the way, people. So if you're sensitive to spoilers, and it's a week old now, so there's no reason you should be really. But if you are, that's fine. Maybe stop watching now. But it sends you off down towards the Barnard's Loop area, or certainly in that direction anyway, to go and find a listening post. When you get to the listening post, if you can decode it, it will give you, we think, probably the rough area that you should be going to, sort of, or it certainly gives you a distance, I think, and a couple of other little bits of information. The stuff that they put on Twitter and Instagram gave us the Coalsack Nebula, which is over in the other direction, which is, again, if you look at the galaxy map, is roughly over to the right, let's say, right? So my question is, did we solve it in the wrong order? And I have an opinion on this, and I think we probably did. I think we were meant to go to the listening post, and then from the listening post we were meant to go that way to the Coalsack Nebula. But what actually happened was we started at the megaship, and then we went Coalsack Nebula. Right, we found everything. We found some other stuff associated to what happens at the Coalsack Nebula. So that was great. We got all that sorted, and then we found the listening post, and then started to decode what the listening post was trying to tell us. Does that make sense? And do you think that is A, what we did, and B, is that perhaps not what Frontier intended? Oh yeah, there was a Galnet article. Yes, Wintermute, you're quite right. There was a Galnet article in the station in the starport in Chukchan as well, that points you at. I can't remember what I can't remember where the Galnet article points you, but it points you at whatever the megaship doesn't point you at, basically. Yeah, so I think Nova Cygni's basically got it. So it's more of point D, A, C, and finally B. Yeah, yeah. It was a bit. I don't think. I don't know. I want to say I don't think that's what they intended. But regardless, that's what actually happened. If you want to, we could go out and have a look. But I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. I don't really know what I'm going to do today, by the way. I think I covered that off at the start. I'll tell you what, I'm going to line up a jump back to Tawanta because I like to park there when I'm not doing stuff with my carrier specifically. So we might as well do that quickly, and then I'll take a look and see what's going on in Tawanta and maybe do some of that. How about that? I'm going there. Back to where I just came from. But what's your thoughts, people? Do you think that's basically what happened? It kind of feels like that's what happened. Do you know what I mean? Which is okay, I think it seems odd that they did that take? Yes, it did. It seems odd that they gave us the Coalsack Nebula in advance, if you know what I mean. I think that may have, if that wasn't what if we solved it in an order that they didn't intend, I would suggest that was a mistake. Yeah, once. I'm kind of thinking BGS at the moment. This stream is always. Hello, Lucky Luigi. How are you? This stream is always a nice opportunity to sort of to do a bit of BGS. So, um, see, it's interesting what you say, Boon Labs. I agree, mate. Yeah, I still feel like I don't know. I feel like the organisation that was it Azimuth Biochemicals or whatever, the organisation that kind of kicked all this off. I still feel like maybe there's an installation or something that we're missing that's owned by them. If I always thought. I know there are a couple of people mentioned it on Twitter as well. That I always thought like perhaps there was something else that we were still meant to find. I don't know, but this is the thing with the elite community, isn't it? As soon as you sort of go, there might be something in this area of space, they will find it, and they'll find it in fairly short order. Um, but it's a while since we, as a community, we did one of these things. So perhaps that information has sort of got lost in the mists of time somewhat. But I don't imagine it's a mistake, for want of a better expression, that they'll make again. I think I probably want that ship. I've done some messing around with that recently, so it's got some stuff on it that I wouldn't normally bother with, but I think it'll probably do the job. I don't even know what I'm doing yet. Hang on, let me just grab hold of Discord, people, and I will be right with you. What is going on in my BGS? While I've got your attention, by the way, guys, one of the reasons we threw up this channel. I'm trying to read and speak at the same time now, and that is never something that goes well for me, honestly. One of the reasons we threw up this channel is because we wanted to stream other stuff, right? When was that? That was, oh crikey, okay. Okay. Do you know what? I don't even know what's going on with the CG yet. I'm not up to date with any of that at the moment. So why don't we have that? Yeah, one of the reasons we threw up this channel is because we wanted to stream other stuff, right? And we didn't want to sort of, put that other stuff all over. Is that where the CG is? Okay. We didn't want to put that other stuff all over the Buur Pit as is, because, that's very much an Elite Dangerous channel, and that is how it will stay. Oh, here we go. Crikey. The Empire's count. Okay, so this is what's gone live this afternoon. So it's open conflict, presumably. LTT 1935 from occupation by the Empire. Gotcha. What I'm hearing is Anaconda, is what I'm hearing. Yeah, we didn't want to make a mess of the main channel. We didn't want to sort of cover it in stuff that wasn't Elite Dangerous. Me and Ree, I think, as we've mentioned before on this here very live stream, we're quite precious about the Buur Pit and want to keep it as is. And we're never ever going to be, I think, one of these organisations that does lots and lots of different games and never really settles on anything. So don't think for one moment that we're about to suddenly start diluting what we do. That isn't the case at all. But we would occasionally quite like to, experiment with other games and just kind of, stream something that we find funny or entertaining or whatever. And I'm playing. There is a point to all my rambling here. I'm playing Sniper Elite 4 occasionally at the moment when time allows. And my God, I'm enjoying it. My God, I've always liked the Sniper Elite games anyway. I only really ever played Sniper Elite 2, I think, to any great degree, just because this took over. But I am sort of experimenting with Sniper Elite 4 at the moment, and I've just got to the 4th level on it. And it's when you start a level in a game, right? And have you ever had it where you start the level in the game, and it's so good. You've enjoyed it so much. I've only gone like 300 yards, but the bit that I've done is so good. I wanna restart the level and do it again. Have you ever had that? That's what I'm getting with this particular map on Sniper Elite that I'm playing at the moment. And I was playing this yesterday while I was waiting for Ree to get back from an emergency hairdressing appointment that she crowbarred in before the country went into lockdown again. Have I got a fuel scoop on this? And I was playing it thinking I would love to stream this, but I don't want to do it if literally no one's interested. But like, so the snipes that I've done so far in the game, I tend to play Sniper Elite really methodically, right? It might be quite frustrating to watch because I'm really slow and really take my time. But the snipes that I've been doing up till this point, crazy. Yeah, I'm in a private group anyway, mate. So, the snipes that I've done sort of up till starting this new level were only, I think the maximum one was about 300 meters or something like that. The start of this level, I'm now doing snipes that are like half a kilometer. Fuel scooping. You know, the people are absolutely ickle. And it's doing, if you've never seen Sniper Elite, there's this bit, it basically goes into slow motion and follows the bullet across the battlefield, and then shows you an X-ray version of the person I'm not kidding, as the bullet rips into them and tears their organs apart, and then comes out the other side. It's a delightful little game, but it is hugely satisfying. And I was doing that yesterday, thinking, oh, I'd love to show people this, but I know it's kind of old. But Science Keeper, you should stream what you love. Thank you, mate. Yeah, I kind of want to. There's also, me and Rhea have got Untitled Goose Game on our list at the moment, and really want to do that. Science Keeper, I have tried No Man's Sky. Yes, I've got it. I've actually got it on PlayStation 4. I struggled with it, honestly. I think its main problem is it isn't Elite. That's its main problem, really. I've kind of, it's a little too. I get what it's trying. It's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a little too. I can't think. The only way I can describe it adequately, and it makes it sound really insulting, and I don't mean that at all. But it's a bit Fisher Price for me. It's a little bit too Lego, a little bit too colourful, and a little bit too cartoony. And it turns out I like my massive universe spaceship simulators to be a little bit darker and a little bit more realistic, if that makes sense. So it's really good. I get why it's good, and I love that they're adding so many things to it really quickly. And from where it started, which was a shocking disgrace when it was released, let's be honest, it was appalling. From where it started to have done the repair job on it that they've done, they really should be applauded for that, with the caveat that it should never have been released in that mess to start off with. But I suspect that's more Sony's fault than it is Hello Games. When you're the size of Hello Games and your publisher is Sony, I suspect Sony are saying, you will release on Thursday, but we can't. You will release on Thursday. I think that's probably how that probably went. But that said, they have absolutely turned it around with aplomb and done an amazing job, but it's not for me. Science loved No Man Keeper in VR. Yeah, I bet it's amazing. Yeah. You need to forget everything about Elite. Yep. It's like a comic. You're not wrong. Yeah, it's very bright and colourful. There's nothing wrong with that. But okay, Phil Barnes is saying new planetary crash sites have been found in the conflicted zones. Crashed Anaconda with Thargoid sensors. That's a sorry, stupid question, Phil. That's at the CG, is it? That's interesting, isn't it? Drive charging. That's very interesting. It's do you know what? It's a fascinating time to be an Elite Dangerous player, isn't it? They're definitely, you know, for obvious reasons, they've got a massive release coming next year. So, you know, I'm not stupid. They're obviously up in their game But that's fine. We all benefit from that, right? I've got no problem with that. But yeah, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. Why have they done that? That can't be a coincidence. We don't generally find crashed anacondas in the bubble with Thargoid sensors on board, do we? Someone help me out here. That's not something we generally find in the bubble, at least, anyway.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
In the Pleiades, you fully expect that kind of thing, don't you? It's I haven't read the details, Science Keeper. When we get there, mate, we'll have a read of the details, I think, because I need to understand what's going on. If for no other reason, I do a news show on Fridays. I should probably understand what's going on in the news. But I would call it a limited military action, perhaps, at this point. I once heard the Vietnam War described as a limited police action, which I think is understatement of the decade. Yeah, I think it's a sort of limited military action at the moment, isn't it? Rather than like all-out war, but you know these things have a tendency to accelerate sometimes. Whether it will in elite or not is another matter, but that's really interesting though that are there multiple sites that have got crashed anacondas with Thargoid bits spewing out of them, or is it just one? Because one you could probably write off as procedural generation. If there's multiple sites, I would suggest that's possibly Frontier trying to allude to something. Or am I once again looking on the face of a pizza and seeing Father Christmas? Border incident. That's a good way of putting it, Wintermute. Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. It's a border skirmish, isn't it? At the moment. Boon Labs, as much as a nuclear attack is a limited display of fireworks.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
As Science Keeper, you don't have to understand it to do the news. Turn on the TV, everyone else doesn't know anything as well. Okay, Phil. That's okay. So that's interesting then. It's only one site, but it is a permanent site. So that's fascinating for itself then, because it's not a random, and it's actually in this system, is it? That is interesting. Whose is that? That's the Empire, and that is the Feds. Let's go there. Sorry, Flintlock. By the way, I can't go Empire. I just can't. I'm really sorry. I'm not sorry at all, actually, but I felt the need to justify. I can't go Empire. Crazy Golem, thank you very much for stopping by, mate. Have a good one. Have you got time to tell us what you're eating before you go? Ree's working on that very thing at the moment, actually. We're having dinner after this. So what was that? What was the end result? Sorry, of my Sniper Elite ramblings. Would you be interested in seeing some Sniper Elite? But it is a bit out of our usual, obviously. I don't know how entertaining it would be because I do tend to play it really slowly. But as Yaga pointed out the other day, people don't come to your streams for the gameplay. Which I chose to take that as a compliment. Cornish pasties, my friend. Good choice. Probably with potato waffles. Enjoy, mate. Enjoy. Okay, Flintlock, that's interesting. It's okay. It's silly because the system they're trying to take is economy is bad for every imperial power except Ashling, and you don't want it. Gotcha. Loop of shame. You're welcome, people. You come for the loops of shame. It's a good job, isn't it? Yeah, thank you, Yago. Yeah. Good job, Phil, isn't it? It's a good job. I guess so, Ryan. I suppose so. More of an independent in that I don't like to get involved. Yeah, Wintermute, that's another reason why we've got it on a separate channel. Yeah, not. Yeah, it's kind of we'd probably draw the line at, it's really funny, isn't it? What's excessive violence, really? I don't know. I'd say we'd probably draw the line at excessive violence, but of course, sniping someone from miles away and then watching their innards explode is is not is not excessive at all in the slightest. But yeah, no, I don't think it would. I don't think it would, mate. That is a discussion we have in the house quite often. Um, I think we'd probably draw the line at something like Grand Theft Auto, um, but interestingly, mostly because of the swearing and and all the other adult content in it, rather than the violence, which tends to be something like Grand Theft Auto just tends to be hilarious. I think really. But I know people who don't play games and are abhorred by violence in all its forms, as you should be, would
Incoming
not
message.
see it that way. It's an odd one, isn't it? Ryan, yes, it is. It's an independent faction and always will be. It's that's not excessive. That's entertainment. Couldn't agree
Scam
more, Pariah.
detected.
Yeah, we do try and stay independent, I suppose, but I can't. I'm not completely independent personally because I just don't like
Landing gear deployed.
the Empire. But not to the point of like I don't get really really passionate about it. But there's the whole issue of indentured slavery, albeit they're not slaves, but there's still slavery, and I know everyone brings that up. There's the whole issue of that, but also they look a bit like spaceships made by Apple, and that puts me right off. So, and like there's no kind of moral crusade going on either, because I look at the Federation and think, yeah, that looks like a Star Destroyer, and I'm an Empire. When it comes to Star Wars, I'm an Empire guy all the way through. So it's not a moral thing, says the man with a cutter. Well, I've got a cutter, but I don't like it once. I can't stand the thing, to be honest. Yes, Jagger. This is the thing, isn't it? Light swearing and stealing cars is bad. Exploding innards in slow motion is okay. Nazi innards, after all. Yeah, mm, it's a difficult one, but it's almost I don't know. I suppose the violence in Sniper Elite is it's almost comedic. Do you know what I mean? And I get it isn't. I'm not someone who likes violence or indeed guns. I hate, real guns. I hate. They frighten the life out of me. But video games, it's yeah. But I know. But where do you draw the line? Do you know what I mean? Where's the? That's a conversation the internet will have with itself from now until the end of time, I suspect. Where is the line? And that's not a discussion I'm going to get into. But it is a discussion that we have here. I don't like the Corvette either. No, once you're not wrong, but it does look more like a Star Destroyer than. I can see the value in the Corvette. Um, just admit it, you're alliance. I kind of am Flintlock, yeah, but I can't get part. The cockpit design is ridiculous. I mean, it's literally they might as well just make the glass out of tissue paper. Hey, Sadi, if you like the Empire, if you like the Empire and you cut, knock yourself out, mate. That's good for you. Right, the Empire's counter-terror operation in LTT 1935 has triggered armed resistance from the Federation. Armed resistance, or violence, as it's also known. The Imperial Internal Security Service's investigation into the NMLA, I don't know why I said it like that, investigation into the NMLA terrorist group led its agents to Federation controls in neutral space. Military vessels are okay, so we're in neutral space, are we? Declaration by Colonel Ernest Harris. Oh yeah, big fan of his work. Yeah. The Empire cannot dominate and arrest our citizens. It did the Molinists. We claim the right. Blah blah blah. Captain Axwell Cyprian of the LYS Corp. I have no idea who he is. The Molinists of secret bomb making factories concealed within. Okay. Da 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 da. The top 75% of the will be right. Oh crikey! They're giving away military ranks. Top 25% will be raised 2 military ranks and should reach. Wow. Good heavens. Okay, that's unusual, isn't it? So it's not just money, they're giving away rank as well, people. What do you want from me? What is it you want from me? That's combat bonds, presumably. So what is there? Are there combat zones in the system? Stupid question. Is that what I'm looking for? There's a lot of carriers. Oh, God, carriers. Jesus. Otherwise, let's just get rid of everything that is a fleet carrier. Except that one, apparently. Oh, that's the, okay. Yeah. That's the mega ship, isn't it? Okay, it's conflict zones. Okay. Can I get some in the? I can't get them in the resource extraction sites either. I'm gonna go to a conflict zone, people. But I tell you right now, as I'm on my own, unless anybody's coming down here, but as I'm on my own, hello Kai, you're right, mate. Hello. How are you, buddy? I'm gonna go to a low conflict zone because otherwise I will end up concentrating on what I'm doing and not talking to you people. I didn't accept it, did I? Genius. That's what this is. Absolute genius. This is why you come here. Yeah, I want that one. And I want that one. Okay. I will go to a low conflict zone though, unless I get a wing of 3 other people. But I'm quite happy to not get a wing of 3 other people. That is by no means a pressure building exercise for me. Kai, the question I want to know, and I suspect you don't want to answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. The question I want to know is, when are we going to LFT 509, for goodness sakes? How long have I got to wait? I appreciate you're trying to get into Seoul. I understand. I'm excited by that. I really am. I'm not. But when are we going to LFT? Hello, Elfina. When are we going to LFT 509? Please. When? I'm not applying pressure. I'm just asking. Should I be making plans for my retirement? Is that how long I'm going to wait? Hello, Orange Phoenix. How are you, mate? Okay, Wumps is fighting for the Empire.
Frame shift drive charging.
Own navigation. Stay safe, Commander.
4, 3.
It's weird, isn't it, to see all this sudden activity in the game. We started already. The expansion we did. There we are. 3-0 on the invasion. Is the first step to 509. Thank goodness for that. Excellent. Good. I'm very pleased to hear that, mate. Very pleased. But you know that's the one I'm really interested in, don't you? You know that already. This is not a surprise to the Kai. I'm going to try so very hard to not do a loop of shame here. It's so rare that I actually do combat on these streams, because I tend to zone out when I'm doing combat, and that's not what I want to do. Yeah, mate, I know you do. It's a problem though, isn't it, buddy? I get why you're doing it the way you are, because you know you kind of you set out on the turning the wheel thing, didn't you? And then 509 raised its head after the fact as a likely candidate. But you can't be changing direction every time a likely candidate comes up, you know, because you'll end up just going and never actually achieve anything. So I completely and absolutely understand and support, quite frankly, why you stuck to your guns and why you carried on going in the direction that you're going, but instead added 509 to the target list. I get that completely, and I would defend your reasoning to the hilt for doing that. I really would. It's absolutely the right thing to do. I can't remember where I normally have my pips. I think that's probably about the sweet spot. One. Don't want to get this wrong.
Multiple targets in this area, Commander. Could be dangerous.
Under attack.
Good to have you on the team, Commander.
Here we go.
Hear you loud and clear.
Would you kill
I'm
that
moving in.
person for me, please? Thanks very much. Today's first contestant.
Target shields offline.
Blimey, that was quick. Okay, here we go. So this ship, I did this ship was never. I didn't build this ship clever. I just want to get that out there now, people. I don't. My engineering in Elite. I know you can. You know, I understand the principle of min-maxing, and I understand why people want to do that, and that's fine. That's not how I play. That's not how I play video games, and I don't think it ever will be how I play video games. I'm not necessarily about the maximum efficiency. I am very much all about that looks cool, why don't we do that? And what gives me joy, quite frankly. So I like I'd be better off doing this in a heavily engineered Corvette, I suspect. A heavily engineered Corvette. But I just don't like the Corvette, and I quite like the Anaconda. And when he's going to get away, isn't he? Why won't you die? I'm not getting there quick enough, that's why.
High integrity compromised.
Let's get one of them
Taking
quick.
damage. Module malfunction.
I'm overheating to hell as well. See, this is what happens. I concentrate so he's got away. I concentrate so hard on talking to you lot that I forget what I'm doing. So yeah, I can't thanks science. I get you. Do you know what I mean, mate? I can't. So this ship is quite heavily engineered. Well, quite heavily engineered. It's very heavily engineered actually, but not necessarily with a view to efficiency. The fighter, for example, there she goes. The fighter, for example, she's got plasmas, I think, in them. The reason she's got those is so that I can see them better. There they go, look. I found that those ones I can see better, and I like seeing them, so I went with those. See what I mean? That's how I tend to play. I'm never going to be that guy that sort of what's the maximum, the best way of doing this and getting the maximum. Oh, there's a clipper. I'm never going to be the guy that sort of like, you know, what's the quickest way of doing this in the most efficient manner possible. I will often try and do things in the funniest way I can. That's definitely a reoccurring theme. Let's just get a bit of engine going on and get over to Mr. Clipper. Shall we have a go at his, just in case he survives long enough, which, let's be honest, is extremely unlikely. But just in case he survives, we'll target his frame shift drive.
Hear you loud and clear. I'm moving in.
So how are you liking all the CG stuff at the moment? Because there is Frontier are in a funny position really, because they're like, everybody's, you know, quite rightly, for months people have been screaming, we want CGs, we want CGs, we want CGs. And so Frontier have, because we're in the build up to Odyssey, obviously, I've gone, yep, okay, CGs are now a thing again, let's do lots and lots of CGs, to which they then end up with a situation where people get CG fatigue. Not with that frame shift drive, you're not. Yeah, they then get in a situation where people end up with CG fatigue, and are fed up with doing CGs week after week. You can't. It must be such a pain. You can't really win, can you? But it's a weird one, isn't it? Even if I don't participate in the CGs, which quite often most weeks I don't have time to. But even if I'm not participating, the fact that they're going on, and that I get to read, you know, the Galnet-y stuff. I've never enjoyed Galnet quite so much, actually. I have to say, now I think about it, because Galnet was. I know there are differing opinions on Galnet. I get that, but because Galnet was always, well, it might be in game, but more than likely it won't be in game. And now these days, it's definitely in game. I'm really enjoying. Have we got Spec Ops? No, we haven't. That's someone else's chat. Good. Yeah, now that we're in a world where we've got Galnet that's definitely in game and is definitely having an effect. My God, I love Galnet at the moment. I do really enjoy Galnet. I don't necessarily read it in the ship, I like the fact that it's in the ship and that my ship can read it to me, but I read it out of game much more. Do you lot do that? Do you read it in the ship? Do you get your ship to read it to you? Because that's a great piece of functionality that I never use, hilariously. But I do like looking at Galnet on the web. See, that's the other thing about doing CGs. I can't look at chat. I'll wait till this guy pops and then... Right, okay, now I'll look at chat.
Target destroyed.
Good shooting, Commander.
Nice work, Commander. Keep it up.
Orange, that's interesting. Kai, yeah, we kind of talked about that before you arrived. It's the listening post thing being solved. I'm glad it's been solved. I'd like to know if it has actually been fully solved, because there seems to be a lot of spurious information in there,
Hear you loud and clear.
or a lot
I'm
of
moving in.
spurious characters.
We've got multiple hostiles here.
Last I
Let's
looked,
take them
anyway,
out
unless
one at
that's
a time.
changed since we've been on the air.
Shields online.
On the air, look at me, I sound like the BBC. Yeah, I don't know if that's changed since like this afternoon, but last I looked, there were a load of spurious characters or a load of excess characters.
Frameship charge detected.
So I'm curious to I don't like unfinished ends like that, if you know what I mean. I know that's going to drive Rini mad as well. I want to know what it all means, and I'd be a little upset's the wrong word. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but I'd be a little miffed if those spurious characters were meant to be there, and in actual fact we can't solve the last bit of the puzzle. That's going to annoy me a bit, I think, if that is the case. But we'll see. We'll see. How are you feeling about it, mate?
Target shields offline.
And did you enjoy the Halloween thing? I think everybody enjoyed the Halloween thing for the most part, didn't they? It was very well done. I genuinely do think that's some of the best. The voice acting in Elite is very good, by the way. It's often not maligned. I just don't think people focus on it much because there's so much else to focus on in Elite. But the voice acting in Elite is really, really good.
Frameship charge detected.
And I think
Target is trying to jump away,
that Halloween,
Commander.
he's going to get away. There's no way I'm going to get him. That Halloween event in particular, I thought they did an absolutely sterling job. It was just the right size. I'm really glad they kept it in universe as well, if you know what I mean. I was a little worried that it would be, I don't know, that they do a Halloween event and it would be, oh, you know, ghosts or something. Anyway, that's Halloween. Oh no, he's dead. That's Halloween over with. I hope everyone enjoyed that, you know, which is fine if they'd done that. But I love the fact that they kept it in universe and that it was creepy and it wasn't just, again, spoilers, people. I'm really sorry if I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. So if you want to duck out now, go for it. But I love the fact that it wasn't just the Thargoids. It was the Thargoids, but what the hell is going on with Murphy? Can we talk about that? Because no one's. I know Down to Earth did a video yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to see it yet. Where he talks about, I think he talks in there about what we don't yet know as a result of the Halloween thing, or the questions that it raised. And we've kind of had a similar conversation here about whether we need to do a video on it, just to raise a couple of issues. But the real issue that's gnawing on my noggin is Murphy. What was going on with Murphy? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but that behaviour that he was exhibiting is not something we've seen before. And what does that allude to? And I'm talking about the whole watching the stones thing. Did you guys find that interesting? Because that I thought was fascinating. Is that something that we're going to see? You know, when it comes to Thargoid ships, we have to worry about caustic damage. When it comes to meeting Thargoids in person, because let's be honest, that's almost certainly where we're going at some point next year, maybe, I would suggest. When it comes to meeting them in person, are we going to have to worry about that? and the whole what the hell was going on with Murphy thing. Because I thought that was really interesting, particularly his last words were, "Oh my god." I really hope that wasn't just, oh, let's do that for the sake of being creepy, but not follow up on it. Because that was really, really interesting, I thought. Do you know what I'm alluding to, people? He seemed to basically he was being coerced or almost hypnotized, for want of a better expression. This guy's a tough banana.
Affirmative. Maneuvering to attack position.
Do you know what I mean? That was, I thought, really, that was the really interesting thing that came out of the... Let's pick his frameshift drive apart again, just in case. Yeah, that was the thing I thought was really
Copy that,
fascinating.
Commander. Engaging enemy now.
I did not expect that. And like I say, I haven't listened to Down to Earth's commentary on it yet, but I'm surprised that no one's talking about that just yet. But maybe people are talking about it and I just haven't seen it. Level 1 mesmerizing, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like whether we're going to have to find a way to deal with that before we can go into a hive, for example, without being mesmerized and mowing our own team down as a result. Right, that guy. Oh, it's him. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say I'm being attacked by something.
Hear you loud and clear. I'm moving in.
And it's another one of those bleeders. Yeah, I did think that was fascinating. The last bit of his little I want to call it piece to camera, but you know what I mean, where he goes, the stones. That bit was, oh my god. Like editing the video that we did for that, we had to listen to that speech a number of times over and over again. Clipper! Over and over again, and it never got any less creepy. In fact, it just got worse and worse and worse. See, now we're in that stage where you've got the battle's over, but you've got a clipper, and you're like, please don't run. Please don't get away. Can't let a clipper get away. Every time a clipper gets away from a combat zone, somewhere a bag of kittens, I was going to say gets drowned, but that would be awful. Somewhere a bag of kittens gets mildly upset. And we can't have that.
Under attack.
Good night, Vienna. Does anyone else have the same reaction to clippers when you see I think it's because they kind of look like a duck. I think that, not that I've got anything against ducks per se, but you know, a spaceship that looks like a duck, says the man flying a shed, but you know what I mean. Sir D, have a good one, mate. Thank you very much for stopping by. Yeah, that's it. Orange Phoenix, I'd not thought of that. Perhaps Murphy is the beginnings of the Far God cult. That's fascinating. I'd not thought of that at all. Mildly upsetting, a bag of kittens. You see, Flintlock, we can't have that. We can't have that. Oh, they killed him before I got there. That's just rude. But we can console ourselves with an Asp Scout. I think that's a death we can all get behind, isn't it? Yeah, I'd not considered that, Phoenix. That's really interesting. Like, we've always thought that the cult was just, you know, a bunch of, let's call them misguided nutters. Slightly politically incorrect, perhaps, but, you know. We've always thought them to be just misguided. But in actual fact, maybe there is some sort of coercion going on. And what do we think? What do we think they got out of the crashed Thargoid ship? Are we happy that that was a probe?
Hangar is secure, Commander.
Charging.
Are we happy that that was just a probe? Or
4, 3,
see you later, Science Keeper. Take care,
1.
mate.
Engage.
Phil Barnes, not ducks, but geese. Yeah. So okay. So Phil, is it whatever it was? It was affecting all the people, but in different ways. I from what Carver said, I got the impression that everyone else was being affected because there was infrasonic sound. So it was possibly a lack of sleep thing or something like that. That was she did. I'm sure she mentioned something about sleep during the logs. I'm sure she said something about sleep. So I think that might have been, but that seemed to be a very different sort of effect to what Murphy was suffering. Murphy was a whole different level of what the hell's going on there. That was very weird. That seemed to be like genuine, actual coercion, or like you say, mesmerizing in some regard. Whereas I got the distinct impression with everyone else that it was their aggression basically was a little bit ramped up, but possibly because of sleep and irritation. But I suppose that wouldn't cause a load of soldiers to just start gunning each other, would it? Phoenix saying I think it was a live Thargoid. Kai, I'd not noticed that at all. That is interesting. So Kai's saying your thoughts on the interesting thing that the rewards of the CG are on one side and the defensible moral position on the other. Who's got the defensible? I don't know. I haven't even looked at what the rewards are. What's the sliding scale on the right? Is it like, does it start at a sort of sense of general well-being all the way up to absolute ecstasy at what a great person you are? Okay, Boonlabs. Infrasound does cause nausea and anxiety. Okay. But again, that's okay. So that would going to fight to the end against the invading imps, but expect to be on the losing side. That's interesting. Yeah, that's kind of nausea and anxiety. But again, that's a whole different thing to what the anxiety you can explain. Okay, I can see that an extreme version of that would have had an adverse effect on everybody, so you can dismiss that. But what Murphy was suffering and continued to suffer afterwards, and also what happened to him. I know when you go to the barnacle near the site, there's the crashed SRV, which is clearly his, but also an occupied escape pod. But I'm not convinced that the occupied escape pod is meant to be him. Honestly got the distinct impression that occupied escape pod was, uh, a copy and paste of a crashed SRV. But I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Yeah, that's interesting, John. If Murphy was susceptible to something accidentally and the Thargoid noticed, it would explain why they hoover up escape pods. But they don't hoover up that one when they're at the site. So I don't believe that's meant to be him, that escape pod, but I could well be wrong. Obviously.
Landing permission granted.
Did anybody else get the impression that the escape pod that was always there was meant to be him? I would have thought that would have been renamed otherwise to Murphy's escape pod or something. Imps are attacking without proof, but they are offering bonus ranks for top percentages, whereas defending the attacked people grants no bonus rank. Okay.
Scan detected.
I have no feelings on it, Kai. I find it interesting that Frontier are doing that, and I suppose I'll be interested to see what way it goes. that kind of thing for me in game is not. I don't lose sleep over it, or I'm a bit of a weird one with stuff like that. I find what goes on in Elite fascinating and interesting, not necessarily to a degree where I'd like to affect it. But I do like watching the way the player base reacts to stuff like that, and I love it that Frontier are clearly trying to do more of that. I'd be fascinated to know from Frontier where that is coming from as well. Is that because I think the general perception. I don't think I'm enlightening anybody with this at all. The general perception is that that a lot of this is coming from Arthur, but I don't know that it is. I don't have an opinion on it either way. I just don't know that it's coming from Arthur. But I know Arthur gets quite excited about this stuff, quite rightly, because it is exciting. It is good. But I wonder if a conscious decision had been made within Frontier anyway, or whether the community team were involved in the decision making and sort of said, well, it would be better. You know what I mean? I'd love to understand how that hangs together. But let's be honest, it's none of my beeswax, and I suspect if I asked them, they'd say no comment. So far, the Feds are doing better than the Empire. I'd have to say, I think my perception is, regardless of the moral argument or the rewards involved in the CG, I just think the Feds will do better, because the Empire, as soon as it doesn't matter how the slavery is handled by the Empire, whether it's indentured servitude and all that kind of stuff. Ultimately, as soon as people see slavery or imperial, I think that tends to sway anyway. So I think probably the Feds. Yeah, I thought I read that as well, Kai. I think the Feds are offering uh, rank and stuff, but I don't know. I speed read it. I very much skimmed it. So the wire on my headset is driving me nuts at the moment. It keeps whamming into my neck and annoying me. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're back. I'm going to hand in my bonds, and then I'm going to do the thing. I am going to do the thing. So I mentioned that this week's doing the thing
Incoming message.
was, I suppose, influenced to a degree by Frontiers. All right, I'm going to go full face cam here, people, so brace yourselves. All right, that's fair warning. All right, here comes full face cam. So I mentioned that this week's doing the thing was sort of influenced by Frontiers' excellent news video last week that they released with all the what's the word I'm looking for? The Halloween stuff. Okay. So I don't know whether shall I just show you? Okay, so this got me this for I can't, she'll stab me for not remembering, but I can't remember if it was a birthday or a Christmas. But got me this a couple of years back, and it is the stuff that I always bring out on doing the thing. They're amongst my most prized possessions anyway, which I know is ridiculous because it's always just a piece of plastic, but you know what I mean. But this, I just think, is one of the coolest. I've got two action figures that are really, really, really funny. I think they're funny anyway, but I'm mental. But I think they're really funny, and this is the other one. I will get the other one out one day, but they're not related. So don't go thinking that I've got a set of them. I haven't. This is the only action figure that I've got of this particular set. But if you've ever seen Anchorman, I have a bit of an unhealthy man crush on Brick from Anchorman. I just think, and Steve Carell in general, to be honest, I just think it's hilarious, mostly because of Anchorman. So I have got a Brick Tamlin action figure, complete with trident. Now, if you've never seen Anchorman, this will mean nothing to you whatsoever. If, however, you've seen Anchorman and you enjoy Anchorman, I suspect you are now laughing. But that is so. Today's doing the thing is a Brick Tamlin action figure from Anchorman. He's even got right. So he's if I get him up close to my new super fantastic camera, those glasses, the glasses even come off, right? So he's got removable glasses. His suit is actual cloth, so he's got he's got a proper brown cheap suit and like a little pair of shoes that come off and everything. So it's a little like a proper tie and everything. It's a real quality piece of work. I killed a guy with a trident, so that is flintlock brick. How did you get a hand grenade? Jagger's not impressed at all. Okay. Um, so there we go. There's today's doing the thing. Now, Brick sits on the shelf outside this room, which is the Buur Pit. He sits on a shelf outside next to the Predator, who has been on doing the thing before. And so try and imagine that if you can. He sits next to the Predator and also my Jaeger and Kaiju, I think, which we had on the show a couple of weeks ago. It is amazing, isn't it, Flint? Honestly, it is. Who we had on a couple of weeks ago, and so there is another action figure as well that isn't the other action figure that I alluded to, but there's another one that he sits next to, but I don't want to spoil that one just yet. So just try and imagine that you've got terrifying monsters, giant robots, a creature from beyond the stars that hunts humankind, and Brick Tamlin. So there we are. That is today's doing the thing, which is Brick Tamlin in a suitably screamy I killed a guy with a trident pose, which is, as always, one of my most prized positions, if for no other reason that it was a gift from my wife, who has never seen Anchorman and refuses to watch it. But I'm sure with the appropriate amount of nagging from an online community, we can do something about that. What do you say, people? Challenge accepted. Where the heck is Bernie? That's a good one. I'd not thought of that. I hadn't considered that. So there we go. There we go. I think my dinner is going to be ready in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to call it there, people. Thank you very much, as always, for joining us. Yeah, mate, that was from Rini. Absolutely. I know, right? Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are lovely for turning up. Camera people, you know who you are. Thank you. Suffice to say. So we will pull another stream together, and I suspect you might see some. If we can get over the moral dilemma of what we're streaming, you might well see some Sniper Elite. Yeah, Jagger, you're not a not a fan of Anchorman, are you? Bob, 07 to you, buddy, as well. Thank you very much. Right then, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll be back. We'll be online later on. We'll be in. Oh, you're welcome, Phoenix. Thanks, mate. Cheers, Mark. Bless you, mate. Yeah, we'll be back online. We'll be in voice chat later on, I'd imagine, at some point somewhere. So take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for stopping by. Look after each other. Please wear a mask, people. Take this stuff seriously. Keep safe. And we will see you very, very soon. Thank you. Bye, 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 bye. Where's the off button? The off button. It is... I can't find it. I've got an off button. So, oh, there it is. Look. See you later.